With me now, Behnam Ben Taleblu, Iran Program Senior Director at FDD, and Bobby Ghosh, International Affairs Analyst and Opinion Writer. Welcome to you both. Bobby, let me begin with you. The Ayatollah is clearly spinning what happened in the so-called 12-day war. What's his next move?
Well, he's going to have to protect himself. He's the one who has lost the most in this war. He's lost a lot of personal prestige. He's lost the aura that he had and that he has maintained for 35 years. He's had two of Israel's sworn enemies, beg your pardon, Iran's sworn enemies, Israel and the United States, strike targets deep inside his country and destroy or at least severely damage his much prized nuclear program. So he needs to find some way to wish that away, to wipe that under the carpet. And this attitude, that this language that he's using, which sounds almost Trump-esque in its sort of exaggeration. Actually, he's been doing this sort of thing for decades, and Iranians are used to hearing this kind of wild exaggeration and overstatement from him. It won't work. I think Iranians will find out, if they don't already know. There has been a government attempt to black out all kinds of information, but Iranians know how to get past that. And I'm confident that Iranians will find out, if they don't already know, what really happened.
Well, Behnam, I mean, you mentioned that the Ayatollah's speech mentioned Iran and nation far more than Islam. Speaking of how Bobby's mentioning the Trumpian aspect of it, what is his goal here by focusing on nationalism instead of religion?
Great to be with you. It's an excellent question because once backed into a corner, Iran's Islamist autocrats, which traditionally tend to abhor the nation, are now trying to drape themselves in the language of nation and nationalism to play to that very base, very deep sense of nationalism that exists throughout the country. Thus far, they've failed to generate a rally around the flag effect. There's been a brief blip of support, you could say, for the government, obviously, because anyone who's living under a war zone doesn't want to get bombed when they're in said war zone, and multiple positions across the country have been hit. But I think Iranians are smart enough to see through this, that this is just a ploy for the regime to fight to live another day. And I mean, it took Khamenei, an 86-year-old who is currently holding hostage 91 million people, from the depths of a bunker to begin to even have to speak like this. So that speaks volumes to the average Iranian citizen.
Well, Bobby, Iran's parliament, though, they passed a bill to end cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, but the Ayatollah will still have the final say. What do you read into this effort?
Well, the parliament simply makes some suggestions, effectively. As you say, the Ayatollah is the one who makes the final decision. If he decides to act on the parliament's advice, he can do, or he can completely disregard it. So I don't take what the parliament says as particularly relevant. I think there's only one man at the end of the day who makes the final call, and that is Khamenei. As long as he is keeping his options open, then all options are open. And he has not yet, I think, definitively said there will be no talks. He said things like, there will be no talks while we are under attack. There will be no talks while we're being asked to surrender. But he's not saying that we will not talk at all.
Behnam, will talks likely happen?
I think it's likely, but not in the very short term. President Trump has said as early as next week. I think the Iranian play here is going to be trying to generate fear, generate leverage. Traditionally, this is done through nuclear escalation. With much of that infrastructure gone now, the way that pressure is going to be generated is by diminishing the monitoring. You know, the real battle damage assessment, things that your various guests have been talking about, will be provided and can really only be provided with the IAEA on the ground. And by circumscribing IAEA access and doing what the Parliament and the Guardian Council have now threatened to do, which is to limit that access, they can generate leverage before they go back into talks. So now the debate is how best to do this.
Gentlemen, thank you for your insight.
Thank you.